Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Marston's Holdings Watch. That's what we're doing here. What we do? Camera, can we swap round? Yes, we can. Removal of implied rights of access. We have got had a visit yesterday to this address, and I removed them via the telephone. I asked the people that live here to ring the police for protection, because Marston's Holdings had forced their way through this door, and the old man that lives here didn't understand what was going on. They told him if he didn't open the door they would drill the locks and they would be coming in. So he let them in under duress, and they wouldn't leave. They was going to take items, so I advised them to ring the police to protect and to serve. They rang the police. The police turned up and then started to aid and abet and assist a third-party corporate entity, of which had not gained peaceful entry, to start itemising goods which they don't have. They are personal items, possessions, property, sentimental value, and they started cataloguing goods to sum up and take for the debt. So unpaid traffic charge, red light, jumped 35 miles an hour, charge been unpaid, so they're collecting. I asked to see the warrant, wet ink signature that's legible, the judge's seal. I wanted to know the name. I asked them to show the warrant cards, ID cards. They would only show their collar badge numbers. So you guys, we are standing here today because they said they were coming back at 6 AM. And there's an old man in here, a pregnant lady, and the person, the legal person who's got the charge notification, is down here living on paper but doesn't live here, needs to change the address. So all in all, not good. But under the Taking Control of Goods Order Act, I will tell them that they need to pass it back to the original creditor, and there will be legal payment tendered in some way soon to set up a payment plan. They can pass it back to the creditor. They'll have a cease and desist order. I have power of attorney. They're not coming in. If they come in, then they're going to have to move me out the way and commit harm injury. Such things as one viewer, 3 viewers. Morning, guys. Wow, 3 people are up. I didn't expect that. Who are you? Who's watching? Might be a bit boring, guys. John Bob, stand strong. Yes, my brother. Yes, I am standing strong. This is what we do. I've had 3 hours kip working this afternoon, but we make time to fight the devil. Yes, we do. We make time. Let me share this. Bear with me. We've got a van going up and down. I think there might be here people. They might be here. It's a civil matter. The police can't be involved because it's not criminal. But I do believe to recover PCNs and also council tax, they go for a criminal element of recovery. So Magistrates Court allegedly issued warrant. The warrant will be Taking Control of Goods Order. They did show a warrant yesterday, but it was on an iPad. Bailiffs, agents, debt collectors, they can come between the hours of 6 AM and 9 PM. Yes. Ciao. Good man. Yes, thank you. John Liverpool.
Yes, John Liverpool. Alright, our kid. How's it going? Fucking love Liverpool. It's right good.
Boycotted the Sun because of what lies they told in the Hillsborough disaster. That's when I think of Liverpool, I think of strong people that get together and say, duck this hit. Yes, you know what I mean when I say duck this hit. And they say, what's happened here? We've been told lies. This media corporation has tried to manipulate us on a grand scale, tell us lies. So Liverpool got my respect, boycotting the Sun. The power of the man. Unbelievable. Thanks for watching, guys. I haven't got enough memory on my phone. It's not that I think this is exciting enough to film. I would film it and leave it on my phone, but I forgot to dump the memory out, so I can't. We have to go live to save the mem. Yeah. Marston's Holdings. They don't scare us today. Didn't bring any tobacco, didn't bring anything. What an idiot. Share. That's better. Facebook. Let me just put it into Sovereign Express Private Games of Babylon, aka Sovereign Paralegals. I think the van went past and saw me stood outside, and they've gone. Unless he dropped something off. We'll see. I don't want to disappoint you. I hope somebody turns up. I hope there's a show for you. I've built myself up to it all night. I've been rehearsing my speech. You see, the police should be here to do this job, but the police don't do this job. So police are turning into policy enforcers and private corporate, you know, employees. Go. YouTube, reconnect. What we got here? The police used to be something, not anymore. Yeah, the story goes, when I was on the telephone to them, I was in work and I wasn't able to get to the family when the agents turned up and gained unpeaceful entry, and I said call the police for assistance because they're there to protect and serve. This is trespass and it's theft. These are the two crimes that are being committed upon you now. The police came, and then when I started speaking to the police and I wanted to get them to show their ID cards and the warrant cards, because they was implying that the issued paperwork on the iPad was actually valid and legal, I said, are you here in the capacity as an officer today or a constable? I will upload the MP3s for you because this is, I told them there was being recorded as well, which is maybe why they left. I said it would be used as a transcribed and used as admissible evidence in our counterclaim in court against them as individual men, not officers of the Met. Even when I'm tired, I still waffle. Oh, get to the point, David. I asked them, are you in the capacity of officers or constables? And he replied, what's the difference? I went, well, one is here to protect and to serve, and he comes under his oath. Yeah, and he's called a constable, and one's an officer, and he works for a corporation, and he's here to extract revenue at any cost and ignore the implied unalienable rights. And he hung up on me, so I had to call back. Oh my days. They left the family, yeah, the bailiffs left, the agents left, and the the officers left, and they ended up saying to the family, to the lads and the old man, that my knowledge is outdated and the laws have changed since then. To which I replied to the family when I arrived last night, If my knowledge and the laws are outdated, then why have they left, and why have they left empty-handed? If I didn't know what I was on about and we was talking rubbish and it was all nonsensical and pseudo law and free man of the land ramble, then they would have taken the goods, wouldn't they? And I would have come to find that the family possessions had been taken. Oh, can't think straight because it's too early. I've had 3 hours skip. Couldn't sleep. I was too excited. Believe it or not, I was too excited about doing this. Easy. No action. No action, brother. I've got people chatting to me on YouTube. I've not told them address or anything or any names. I've just said I'm on Bailiff Watch and this is it. There's people awake and alive. Police used to be something, not anymore. Yes, John Bob. I can't read, my eyes are too watery, the screen's too tiny.
It's that tiredness, isn't it?
Maximilian, hello all, respect Maximilian. John Bob, nice, just wait. Just wait. Yeah man, this is why we need a van. Once we get funds enough, on the on https // sovereignparalegals.uk, there is a donation button on there. If I find a benefactor that's got enough money, or someone that's won the lottery and just perhaps wants to donate a bit of money, or a businessman, or somebody that watches this that's eccentric, or somebody that's connected to a family that's got lots of money and you got it left in your inheritance and you don't know what to do with it, then I can utilise that money by buying vans, equipping them out with offices, training people up in trust and equity, what the real law is, and such things as. So I have prayed many times for this, and I know it will be delivered unto me.
Positive energy.
There is going to be a board of trustees appointed, so any public money that gets put into Express Private Games of Babylon, we will have a board of trustees. I am not going to control any of the public funds. It's a non-for-profit charitable trust, and yeah, it will be managed openly, publicly, and with trustees. I want no part of any funds money, so I can't be accused of anything. Get that man a beer. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Get me a beer. You see, when you think of court and when you think of justice, what's going on every day? When you go to court, you swear on the Bible to tell the holy truth and nothing but the truth. But you are, in fact, in court of sessions all your life. From the moment you pop out of the birthing canal until the moment you peg it, I would say that you are what's called in the court, the court that is 24 hours, the court in front of the Creator. You cannot lie, and you're judged constantly with every waking minute. So I might have been a bad lad when I was younger, when I got kicked out of home. Not that bad to get locked up or hurt anybody, but I might need to make amends. I might want to make the world a better place. Quebec, I can see where that is. I'm going to say Australia and probably embarrass myself, but Quebec, Canada, no, we'll rethink, maybe Canada. Yeah, let me think, that might have been my brother in the corner giving me a nudge. Respect Canada. Hey, you got some nice trees up there to smoke. Who's this? Is this a friend or foe? Just walking. Somebody tagged me geographically and found out that we're here. What's this? We've got someone approaching, but they're on foot, so they know harm and danger. It's good. It's not cold, it's not snowing, it's not raining. Did you find the police borderline rule?
No, I didn't. That's all I was going to
Oh, can you do me, can I sneak a roll up?
Yeah.
That would be lovely. Cheers. Morning, buddy. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Grazie. So, what else was I going to say to fill up the gaps? The people that inspire you to do this kind of work. Number one was Chrissy Morris. If you don't know Chrissy Morris channel, search Chrissy Morris and look at the bailiff removal and bailiff response that he gives people for free. After you've looked at Chrissy Morris, then you need to look at somebody called Derb, D-E-R-B, J-D. Derb JD. He's another legend. Derb JD, Chrissy Morris, the Love Police, We Are Change Manchester. There's a lot of people to think of actually. Morning. Hey up. It's very busy on the street. Maybe we can get back up. I think I put too much in
Form
there.
a small rebellion outside my house.
Yeah, that's it. I would actually, that's another thing with the benefactor and the vans. We need a national police force, but we don't want to call them a police force. We'll call them oath keepers and wisdom and indigenous men. I need some Anglo men that are free, that would join up to be wisdom oath keepers of the country, landmass known as England, not the corporations. We get these people trained up and we get a van, and then we respond to bailiffs and agents and debt collectors in a lawful, respectful way. I have too. This is what I'm going to say is I'm going to repel them with. They come near me when I'm filming, this lighter. I'm going to say it's mace. It's not actually mace, because it's illegal to carry mace in this country now. Not allowed to, it's naughty, but this simple lighter looks like a canister of mace, don't it? So, I'm going to pretend, look at that, beauty. It's all legal. Domestic terrorism charges, you need to be careful now in England. The domestic terrorism charges that the acts and the statute and legislation have been brought in after the false flag attacks as well, you know. They don't just do these false stories for the fun of it. They are restricting your freedoms. I am a private man and I operate in a private capacity at all times. If you don't know how to set your standards, then you will set your status.
Always in that house.
You assume the public liability of your straw man at all times. If you do not know how to differentiate between the private and the public, and appoint the liabilities of your straw man to your straw man without accepting liability. You don't need to set up a trust to do that straight away. You can actually express it verbally and then get it put into paperwork. Hey up. No, false alarm, guys. A neighbour going to work. Mother. Yeah, so you would argue that you are the title deed holder to the birth certificate. You have a birth certificate. This is your legal instrumentation to sail in the seas of commerce. You are the sole shareholder and administrator to that estate. The birth certificate. You don't need to mention the Sestu KV. You don't need to mention anything about fraud. Do you really think that the British government, monarchy, Vatican and the elite would leave a massive hole in this corrupt, nasty, non-disclosed, constructed pile of shit that we call life and freedom? Do you really think they would leave a massive back door open so we could call fraud? No, they didn't. It's all within the realms of what they construe as legal, and our ignorance is our downfall. We have found the key, the remedy, the structure, the architect's design, whatever you want to call it. We're going to turn you into Neo. You will go from the Walking Dead into Neo. You will dive into Agent Smith and you will take out his heart and you will feed it to him. That's a nice metaphor for this time in the morning, isn't it? Apologies, people. I don't know where that came from, but that's the type of shit we're dealing with. We need to educate the fact that everyone's got a smartphone and doesn't use the brain and doesn't think for themselves. Everyone wants to be a singer. Nobody really wants to work. Nobody talks to anybody. All people with brown skin are going to blow up, for fuck's sake. Honestly, it's the end times. If we can't show solidarity, love, compassion, understanding, wisdom, then what are we doing? Collecting money for ourselves while the whole world goes to shit. Hurricanes come. People burning, blowing up, starving children, foreign war policy, Syrian overlay. It's just mental. America, Korea, poison in the food, HARP, ionosphere, chemtrails. See what I mean? This is small fry. We need to be... there's too much to do. It's too much to do. And YouTube knows it. Canada, we were right. You were good on. It was Canada, they said. Love from Wales. Got to go to work. Wales, let's do some Wales jokes. Wales, what do you call a Welsh man with a stick up his bottom? A taffy apple. How does a Welsh man find sheep in long grass? Irresistible. I have got English, Irish and Italian blood. Feel free to make some of those type of jokes. How would you confuse an Irishman? Lots of ways. Tell him to throw him a bunch of spades and tell him to take his pick. Let's do an Italian one, Italian jokes, and then it's all equal, isn't it? An Englishman, an alien and a woman walk into a bar. The barman looks up and goes, "What's this, some kind of effing joke?" I'll think of an Italian joke. Good morning. I don't know, you can't even say your name, it's that big. Cassia D4G. Morning all. We are on Bailiff Watch, which isn't really Bailiff Watch because they're not bailiffs, they're agents. It's an agency relationship. Look, under your trust and equity, under your trust and equity law. Some chairs.
Yeah, it'll be like Friday.
No, because we don't intend on staying here long.
I don't know how long they're going to be though. There is that.
No.
Hopefully they'll be here soon. So.
They may have realised that, they may have detected that I was a type of stern character. If you think about it, what actually happened yesterday, there's not many people, and this isn't big enough, I'm not big-headed, I know jack shit in the grand scheme of things, but what I do know is a bit more than most. So forgive me for talking frankly to my comrade, friend and brother over here. I was in a different part of I wasn't here, and I was on the phone, and you had got guys in your house through non-peaceful entry that were looking at taking your property that they call goods. So through a series of phone calls, I got alerted. I rang, spoke to your dad and I got put on speakerphone, and I instructed people over the telephone. And I'm not got any license. I've not been to university. I don't know, I don't hold anything special. I'm not in the Illuminati or any gang. And I just said, this is not right, that's wrong. I'm the family paralegal advisor, brief, and you need to remove, and you need to call the police. You've called the police are aiding and abetting. I had to call them out and put them under notice. Yeah, they hung up on me, which is not very good for a public servant. That shows they'd lost control. They've got all that emotion involved. They wasn't showing impartiality and fairness, all that they're employed to do, because I asked the question, are you here in the capacity of an officer, or are you here as a constable? He didn't know the difference, or he did, and he tested me to see the foundation of my knowledge. And I said the oath part and the corporation and finance collecting, revenue collecting. So therefore he hung up, I rung back, and I ended up removing the bailiffs because the warrant cards got asked for, the ID. I told you to take pictures. I said we'd be prosecuting and seeking damages in a counterclaim through them, the men, not actually the Met Office and their badge. Yeah, so yeah, I did that over the phone. And they bailed. And they've gone. So now they're not coming back today because I said I'd come here at 6 AM. It's now 6 AM. We've got a phone number, we can ring him.
Let's do that.
We could actually harass the bailiff. Agent. They're not bailiffs, they're agent. Unless they come from the High Court with a special writ, they will be High Court enforcement agents. But on this occasion, we find the Marston's Holdings agents. Should we ring them? Let's have a vote. Should we ring him up and go, where are you? We're waiting for you. Well, I don't think you should really. That's called being adversarial, I would say. Eight people, 20 past 6 in the morning. Well done. Respect and peace and love to you guys for watching. Good morning. I think you're due a mug of tea. Yeah, I've got coffee here in a stay hot mug. Here we go. Don't worry, guys. Yeah. I could actually ring the guys and say that I've come here and my time is money and I'm invoicing. I'm going to be invoicing through the counterclaim. Because you're the old man, I call him an old man, not out of disrespect, because he's an old man, literally. So the old man of the house suffers from medical issues, of which he's currently being treated for and under medication. A pregnant lady in the house, so I've told them to go and see the GP today and register the distress. We measured his blood pressure yesterday and it was high, so the situation had aggravated his medical condition. And so he needs to go to his GP and register that, and then when you guys get this happening to you, you got vulnerable people in the house and they're getting under duress, suffering harm, injury, trespass, threat, aggravated assault, grievous bodily harm. The list goes on. You tell your GP and people and report it to the police because it's not actually legal. It's legal, but it's not actually lawful. So you then have got a further case to build upon later on, because these people have a £10,000 roughly. Yes, respect Serge for this yesterday. My brother Serge come up with this one. These people have a £10,000 holding bond at the magistrate's court, and they have a policy and duty of care and process system to follow. So if these guys are held to account and identified verified and recorded, abusing that system and policy, then that means that they lose their 10,000 bond at the magistrate's court. Bum shankar. Not bad for 3 hours, Kip.
I was going to ask as well. Didn't get a chance earlier. 3 hours, that's mad. I haven't slept at all. Not that I'm trying to, you know.
Maximilian.
Measure
Yes,
length.
your Greek name, time to stand together. We don't need sleep, it's the energy. It's just the energy recharge we need.
Yeah, man.
And rest in the eye. Is you get stingy eyes when you've been awake for 20 hours, 22
like
hours,
dry
I
eyes
know.
and
You're stingy and you want to stay awake and try and get to like 30 or something just to do it. Then you can't because your eyes just burn.
I'll be relieved when it's said and done. Then I'll go to sleep.
We could say that because he said a time of 6 o'clock, we now need here's another bit of viewings by appointment only. You can put on your window here a sign. So we've got let's just go back to this while we're filling time. We've got a sign here which has got to all that concerns removal of implied rights of access. Next to that you'd put the police borderline rule. Next to that you'd put viewings by appointment only and the way to get in touch to get viewings. And next to that you'd put something like common law jurisdiction applies exclusively. There's a potential of 4 signs of what you could put up there, public notices for the doorstep visitors. Because as you notice, let me see my screen. Which way's the camera? Yeah, as you notice, it's on the footpath, so all the front doors on this terrace road are on public property. So I can't be told to move along because I'm actually on public property, so I'm not trespassing or causing harm. I'm allowed to be here. So they could argue that they're allowed to be here because this is public property right outside the front door, which is why the corporation United Kingdom builds properties like this. There is no defence, there is no garden, there's no fence, there's no perimeter, there's no borderline. The borderline is where the front door meets the path. So, we have designed a system that's enslaved us. Our cities are actually prisons. I had a fight with the bailiff here breaking in a friend's house, almost beat the shit out of him. Yes. It's not funny, is it? It actually isn't. When an Englishman's home and castle, is threatened, and an Anglican's home and castle, not English, when you put ish on the end of something, you dilute it. We're not English, in my opinion, we're Anglicans, Anglo, the landmass known as England. But, when you threaten a man's castle, and you put family members under duress and harm and intimidation and things, then that's surely a crime. That's surely something we've all let happen. Something that the crime minister needs telling about, the commissioners and such like. If we wait till 6:30 and then we bring him, because you've stayed awake all night, haven't you? Poor lad, he stayed awake all night, so he got up in the morning, so he was here. And they've moved. Yeah, the police said not to.
Not me. It has been.
not to take the stuff out of the house because it will be charged with obstruction of the collection of justice if you take the goods out of the house. They've got like a 50-inch plasma, loads of electronics and games, computers. The average personal possessions that you collect over time in an average family house, and. Some of these personal possessions have been moved out, and there's been a notice written saying that the man of the house is a private man, and he's got sole ownership and title deed to these personal items with sentimental value in the house. It's called a statement of truth. So we've got that written out ready to back anything up. But the main objective on this is they are not bloody goods. Goods are what you take to a shop, to a warehouse, to a market, and you commit commerce with them. You have private property, so they trick you again with the words, which is why we do phonetics and language and all this stuff, because when you get into this game, you need to get into it and you need to put in 2,000 hours of study, average, standard. That's a compressed learning curve. That will take you 666 days as it happens at 8 hours a day with a half-hour break. So it's not something you can just go into and get a bit of paper and go, oh, I know what to do. Yeah, man.
Need to work out what the numbers were for the things. I've got a list, but I'll put it together.
Oh. Yeah, but wriggle. should always make sure there's at least 2 of you when you do this kind of things for witnesses, independent witnesses. Film it for your own safety, security, legal reasons. You're in the public, you're allowed to film it. They are a private, there'll be a public limited company that are operating in the public with liability insurance. So, as I've said, public path, private residence. It's a dwelling, and they are inhabitants. We are not occupiers, we are not citizens, we are not employees, we are not tenants. You are, or not residents either. You are, see, choice of words again. You need to say that you are inhabitants in a dwelling. It's not a house, see, it's not commercial in any way. And another thing I've learnt recently, these guys are coming at you with an at-law level, so you can't start using equitable reasons to get out of here. At-law level means that you need to give an at-law response. You can't start shouting equity and whatever, but you'd use these statute codes and laws that they're coming at you with under this system now. They've got some fake paperwork, and they are attempting to control goods. So they have got what? Statutory instruments. So they have got statutory instruments, which means that you need to return fire with statutory instruments until they commit criminal. Once they go over the line from civil and commit criminal, then it's a different ball game again, which means you need to counterclaim, or you need to notice. Like, I will take power of attorney and get in touch with Marston's Holdens later and give them a verbal cease and desist. I will write out a cease and desist. I will send it back to them with a notice. I will also inform them that these guys are the beneficiaries and settlers. We are not the trustees. I will ask them to outline who the beneficiary in all of this is. And they will then have to put down who the beneficiary is. Once that's done, I'll look in correcting relationships. But you see, this is an equitable issue now with the relationships, but how they use that is an at-law, because it's a statutory constructed trust. If I've got that right, still learning, guys, but it's getting there. What's going on? Eviction attempt? No, it's Marston's Holdings are coming to collect on an unpaid PCN for somebody jumping a red light. You know what it's like when you can't brake and you're doing a bit of speed and the light goes from orange to red. It's not someone that's committed harm, injury and loss. I know them personally. They told me about it, what happened. It was traffic lights placed on a hill, going down a hill. They went from orange to red as they were going through, and they'd touched on the gas, so they'd try and get through. So you've got going through a red light, and then you've got 35 miles an hour. Infringement on the Road Traffic Management Act of 1988, which is only applicable to drivers, and it's a mass preconception that it applies to everybody, when in fact it only applies to legal people and people committing commerce. It's not for men, it's not for women. And it just goes to show you, when these people come round and they force in and they intimidate and they say this, that, the other, and they say they'll be back at 6 o'clock the next day and they're not here, that just adds then to harm, injury, duress and stress when they say they'll be here at one time and then they don't come. What's that say? Need to prove a person was driving and not travelling. Yes, indeed you do. Also, you need to ask for the evidence, what they've got. Let's look at it like this then, where we've tackled it at a common law, and we've tackled it at a Freeman angle, and we've tackled it at the free letter process. We could actually look at it within the realms of okay, they've given you a notice via the postal service. On that notice, it's got registration, a photo of a car. There's no picture of the man or woman driving it. And there's a registration, and that registration is tied to the DVLA V5 logbook, so they send you out a notice under that. Right then, so you've got that, and you've looked at it, and there's no picture of the driver or the human being controlling the private mode of conveyance. So what you would do, again, this comes from my man Serge. Yesterday he was having a look through the the documents for the magistrates' protocols, procedure rules, things like that. When you are being prosecuted or there's a claim put in against you, you could ask to see the evidence of which the claimant and prosecutor have got. You can submit a form, I forget the form and what section of the book for the CPR rules it is in, but it's there and I've got it somewhere. You submit the form for requesting to see the evidence of which they've got to prosecute you and bring this claim. Then you get resent the pictures, or in court they will produce the pictures of the number plate and the car, so you get something like this, and that's it. You don't get to see the driver, you'll just get a number plate. Yes, so then you say, okay, I'm willing to accept the claim brought against my legal person or myself, however you handle it, and you'd say, I can't be sure I was driving. Well, you'd say you or your legal yourself, and then you say, I can't be sure if it was me driving that day. With a clear conscience, I can't be sure it was me driving that day. So you've presented the evidence of which I've asked for you to bring this claim, but that evidence does not definitively show that it's me driving. So therefore, they haven't got evidence to prosecute you based on just a shot of a number plate. They need to affix the driver at the time to that said vehicle. So if they can't do that and they've only got numbers on the plate, then what does that tell you? There's no case to answer. So there are... what we are trying to do for you is to show you that there is a technique out there and there is a remedy out there which doesn't involve fighting, which doesn't involve calling out for oaths, and doesn't involve saying that I haven't got an international treaty, I don't agree to be surety for the proceedings, I demand a bond be brought forward, I am not the name, here is my birth certificate, and presenting it to the clerk, you can turn around and say that the other things and control the court. So we are exploring a lot of avenues which you guys won't know of or have heard of, because it takes a shitload of research. It takes you to buy books that are over 200 quid, that are 700 pages long, that you just can't work through. But having met Richard and Kevin and certain people on the circuit that have got, you know, paralegal status, that have got wins under their belt, that have actually been to court and won and got the magistrates and the judge and gone into private proceedings or got into the chambers and stuff like that, then you know, you sit up and listen and you're like, hang on, these guys are talking this my kind of language. So you fight your and repel the people in your, you know, life as much as in any way you want, but you know, you need to be aware of all the options of which we've got. And of late, this is the most exciting time, I would say, to be in this this movement of Anglican souls. What we doing here? I was just watching your video, Scream, not bad, philosophy. I don't know what's going on. Whose video? Thank you, Max. There are some police abuse videos there, my friend. Ah, okay. Friends, ah. Somebody, Scream Crowface. Hello, good morning. Brilliant. I love it when people network and link up and talk and chat and make friends and share, because that's the shit we need to be doing. Just make sure you get out from behind your computer screens and laptops and actually immerse yourself in the community, actually involve yourself in at least assisting one womb man a day, a week. Set yourself a target, occasionally give a homeless man some money. By you doing that, your act and gesture will force the law of attraction to work with you. So whilst I do the physical law and the statute law and the criminal law and employment law, trust law, equity law, all of this business, there are natural laws, law of attraction, the power of intent. So do unto others as you want to be done unto yourself. That in itself is telling you there, that's the law of attraction in a nutshell. Whatever you inwardly project, you will outwardly attract. So if you've not got a good life at the minute, you're having difficulty, you're feeling depressed, you've got anxiety, you don't know why your life's taking a weird turn, then just try and pick your chin up and try and help people, be positive, set yourself a mantra to say, and surround yourself with good, healthy, positive people. I've commented on one of your vids before, they're known as the council tax man. Oh yes, I do remember. I do remember. Yes indeedy. Council tax, PCNs, these are the most aggressive recovery. HMRC, these three are the top ones that will not will not go away. They use the criminal side of the magistrates, you know, to enforce recovery action. Your council tax and PCNs will be classed, you know, as a criminal element for recovery. It's a criminal offence not to pay and withhold the money, but a criminal offence, there's no victim. So my heart bleeds for you. Get a distress warrant out if you must. Kidnap me. You know what I mean? The more of us start doing this, there'll be so much red tape and paperwork and that. They'll just have to change the system. They will have to change it. It will cost them that much money, but then it's making. At the same time, we make them money by fighting them. I need another telephone to give him a ring and tell him his window of opportunity is gone, and that I filmed me being here. This is another good reason why you should film stuff, because I've got legal evidence to say I was here at this time, GMT, on the, I don't even know what date it is. Let's go. On Wednesday, the 18th of October. So, and I've got witnesses to that. How many witnesses have we got here? Everybody that's commented is now a witness to this event. This documented event. Now I've had 3 hours kip and I've got up. I actually feel quite wide awake and sprightly. I'm working at 2 PM. Servitude, contractually obliged, of which I'm looking to get out. I'm going to upload my HHO videos, guys. I've got a HHO unit on my car, brought to me by YouTube initially, and my friend Matthew, who also helps me run this channel. I've got a HHO on-demand, all-in-one dry cell unit running on my 1997 Vauxhall Tigra. We are fitting them and going self-employed ASAP. Cold coffee. I think what I'm going to do is pause it and go and ring up the collection agent and see what he's doing, and give him a verbal cease and desist over the telephone. Tell them, instruct him over the telephone. I'll record my call, and then I will do voice calls from yesterday, and the voice call from today I will upload for you to listen to. What's going on here? Channel had over 100,000 views. Removed a few weeks ago. YouTube are doing some censoring. Don't forget, YouTube and Google are a military organisation. Now, you must have seen the Google robot. That it's not the Google robot, but it's a dog that walks in 4 hind legs. It's mechanically AI controlled, and it's untippable. You can't tip it over. It resists impact. It's got cameras and sensors and infrared and radar and God knows whatever else on it. Be mounted with guns. It's a bit like something you'd expect to see from RoboCop. Yeah, so Google, D-Wave, computer, quantum computer, military organisation. I can see what they're doing. I know they're editing, censoring, removing, deleting. A lot of my channel's videos have gone as well. we need to find our own platforms and go on a private domain. On the Facebook group that I've got, Express Private Games of Babylon, we are building an external private platform, and we're going to migrate any willing members over to that. There will be a £1 a month fee or something. There will be a pay-as-you-go option, or you can buy a course at a reduced 300% reduced rate through being a sovereign paralegals member of the family. And you can go into education workshops. The key here, people, is to get out the public domain, take away the public liabilities, take away the you know, the ability for them to come in and seize and try and attempt to serve and notice and imprison, fine, forfeitures. You know, with Bill of Rights, all fines and forfeits are void unless brought before a judge in a court of law. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I've been here 45 minutes, no sign, so I'm going to get off and ring them, and then I will come back and give you all an update. So if you stay there, all of you 8 people, 8 lovely souls, I will get the phone number and call him, and then I'll come back, go live, update, back to bed. Ciao for now, peace and love. Thanks very much, guys. Maximilian, and you too, all of you, peace and love.